We about to go live. Yeah. What it do? This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. What it do, baby? I got my partner in crime, Mr. Kevin Carr, Mr. Pearl, the CEO, Mr. Career crossover in the house. What
Hey,
it do, baby?
hey man, what it do is we about to do it again today. Have an amazing show, my man. 50 Grant, all the way from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn's in the house, no doubt.
Mr. Joel Sylvain, better known as Joel.
That's right.
Hey man, we appreciate being back. You know, it's been a rough week, but we just came out on top yesterday celebrating King Day. That's right. Happy post King Day to you, my brother. Hopefully you celebrated it well, taking in all the splendor here in the T-Town, but all over the country, all over the world. Great recognition once again for a man who gave so much to so many and means so much to so many. Dr. Martin Luther King, we celebrate you and continue to salute you every day. We appreciate all you've done and sacrifices. How about your King Day, man?
My King Day, man, was all about. It was definitely about service. I'm focusing a lot of my attention on supporting my friend Glenn Elfer, an artist, a philosopher. We go way back, and he's suffering through sickle cell anemia, which is it hits about 8 to 10% of African Americans. 8 to 10%. 1 out of 365 people, Black babies, have sickle cell anemia, and so what happens within that disease, especially now, as cold as it is up north. It's hard for you to get the oxygen. It's hard for you to stay warm. It's hard for your bones. It's, you quickly develop osteoarthritis. You quickly develop arthritis because you're not getting the proper blood cells through all parts of your body. Because keep in mind, when we take in that oxygen and it's going through, it keeps our body warm. That circulation keeps our body. That's why when you lose blood, they touch you and you're cold, and so they have to heat you up to kind of keep the circulation going. Well, that's what happens with sickle cell anemia. And so if you ever felt any type of pain when it's cold outside, it's it's 10 times worse for a person has sickle cell anemia. So
I am familiar with it. I do have it in my family.
In your genes?
And not in mine, but my particular on my wife's side of her family certainly is definitely a consistent issue. So much so I remember when we were dating, my wife was like, "Do you have sickle cell anemia?" I said, "If you do, it's over." And I was like, "What? Okay." So no, in all seriousness, I do know that some people have to ask that question because it could lead to down the road, if you decide to have children together, that if both of you have a sickle cell trait, it could totally, create a different kind of existence for your children if they were to, have that gene, and it, certainly be a true sickle cell, both from both sides. So for me, certainly is something that I'm aware of, and I have, nieces, et cetera, that have lived with it and survived and thrived. They had some important operations and some things that they had to go through in order to get there. But, you can survive with it. You can live with it. And, I've seen it, but great point. But no, overall, man, let's talk about a little bit about the sports scene, if you don't mind.
Please, because I'm getting to my guest right now because he needed the Zoom link.
It's okay. So we're getting to the sports piece. As you know, we try to cover the lighter side of sport, and then entertainment. Then we go straight into power moves. So for you all, hold tight on the discussion today. from a power moves perspective, but from a sports perspective, we've taken in a ton of football and basketball, and this past weekend was no different. If you're a Cowboy fan, I'm sorry. We saw the Cowboys not be able to deliver. Unfortunately, once again in the postseason, it is one of those things where you get so up for them. I'm a total Dax fan. I really like him. I continue to like him. Will still continue to like him. And I always like Cowboys going into the playoffs, but I can always, unfortunately, seem like something doesn't come together and the other team tends to outplay them or some situation. Unfortunately, the clock running out once again, something happened and they could not win and could not convert. So Big D, be watching from the sidelines like a lot of people. As far as our Bucks here in Tampa, once again delivered. Unfortunately, the Eagles were their victim. The Bucks seem to have the momentum going. They seem to have no stopping them. They look very good. But, hey, every Sunday you have to be ready to go. So this upcoming Sunday, several more teams. We saw the Chargers win last night. It's going to be pretty exciting. So I'm excited for the sports piece. I think we continue to see how the landscape of the NBA, whoever out there is a Laker fan, no harm with this, but man, that is not come together out there in Laker land. For whatever reason, we got to see what yet. There's still a lot of basketball to be played, but if you're looking at it from the outside, you're like, man, all that talent, all those years, it still takes fundamentals, it still takes time, it still takes chemistry, it still takes understanding each other, and you really, just because of names, don't just build teams. You really have to come together. I believe they still can possibly do it, but they got a lot of work ahead of them. So, not hating on the Lakers, just seeing what I see. But I do like, Memphis right now, man. Woo, man, they looking like they're going to be something to reckon with. I'm very pleased to see improvement. That's what I love about the NBA. The parity lately has been extremely good. When you think about Milwaukee, Brooklyn, teams that were not good are better now. We're still waiting for a couple of them to come around. Sacramento, yes, I'm calling y'all. But at the same time, I do see the strategy with the NBA. Teams that weren't as good are good, and they're getting better. So we'd like to see that continue out. And I'm excited for what's coming up. Baseball, yes, we're not going to hate. Spring training right around the corner. So we know that we have a decent chance here in the Bay. Our team is one of the lowest budget teams, lowest attendance team, and one of the highest performing teams. And that's because of analytics. So if you're a sports person, you don't understand the work goes on behind the scenes. So we're looking forward to seeing what the Bay brings. So hockey, football, basketball, man, ain't nothing that Tampa can't do. Tampa's on a high. Yes,
Tampa's hot. Speaking of entertainment,
yes, go ahead, man.
It was pretty funny because for umpteen years, my man Mark Green has been doing the Tampa Bay Heritage Festival. And do you know, he put a post up on Saturday with the two girls from Selling Tampa, was like, hey, I'm with Tampa. I'm like, yo, you didn't tell me you was in Tampa. Yo, we need to hook up. He's like, I'm leaving tomorrow morning. He's like, I've been doing the festival for years now. I'm like, what? So it's funny how it's a small world, but Tampa's is getting on the map. It's real. It's definitely real. So let's touch on what's happening, or what I want to highlight in the world of music and entertainment real quick. Boom. Yesterday was one of my mentors, Jimmy Love Jenkins, 60th birthday. This is the man, the right hand. You were talking about analytics and you was talking about being behind the scenes. Jimmy Love Jenkins has always been behind the scenes of Uptown Records. He's the heart and soul. When you see if you ever see somebody from New York and they was in the entertainment business and they talk with their hands like this, and they talk like this, that's Jimmy Love Jenkins. They are meant to Jimmy Love Jenkins.
Didn't believe in private space.
From Puff Daddy to everybody you can think of, he's the man. And one of Jimmy Love Jenkins' mad tight friends, and as well as an associate of mine from in the music business, is Jimmy Rosemond, Mr. Henchman. Mr. Henchman is coming out with his own podcast, debuting February 21st. Got it in my DMs. Of course, he's promoting it. You got to check it out. It's called Unjust Justice. Unjust Justice. One of his artists that he represented, as well as, you know, because he's from Brooklyn, Van Devere Projects, Michael Williams, who just recently passed away in September. He was the one that actually started the podcast, hosting it. So it's going to be very interesting, and it's definitely going to be heart-wrenching because, you know, this is one of the last projects that Michael has worked on. In addition to that, want to give a big shout out to my man, Kevin Lyles. He's doing his damn thing with 300 Entertainment. Gunna got the #1 album. Woo! I mean, he's not one of my favorite artists, but I'm just saying the youngins love that cat. So he's representing. My man, Jamil Spencer, got this thing called Reserve Bar, #Reserve Bar, #BHM. And that's because he is promoting us Black people to support all the liquors that are developed by Black owners, Black entrepreneurs. So go check that out. And today's the 30th anniversary of Juice. Got to give a big shout out to my man, Yuli Torero and Jesse Torero. Yuli has been in the casting business and has his acting rehab. And so he placed a lot of Black and brown folks in that movie on the casting tip. And what's great about it is that's what helped them get their union cards. So give a big shout out to them. Big shout out to Jesse and doing this commercial for Casino Gilla. Also, I want to give a big shout out to Uncle Red on Drink Champs. Love the interview. Dope, dropping jewels, dropping the history, and it's all good. So we got about 3 minutes left to go before we go on break, and then after that we're gonna bring in my guest. But let me just introduce the guest that I got today. We might talk a little bit before we go into our stuff. So when I go into the bio of my man right here, my man got platinum records. He's an innovator and entrepreneur who's committed to improving the music creative process by developing platforms utilizing online technology. So he knew how to make the shift from regular music, creating music, to using technology. He's a former senior A&R executive with Bad Boy Entertainment, BBE, and he's the co-founder of the new digital music platform, Music Feed Pro. He's an influencer in the greater music industry with a wealth of knowledge and experience, working with Diddy and Harv Pierre, another person that's been behind the scenes that not too many people know about. He peeked his head out when they did Discover the Band. But he's worked on everybody from Diddy's album, Biggs, MJG, 8 Ball, Black Rob, Carl Thomas, Danita King, Faith, you name it, he's done it. He's also represented Nasheem Myrick. And one of my favorite records is Who Shot Ya? That beat is so strong. And he's generated worldwide success in working with rappers, songwriters, you name it, and producers. And now with the inception of Music Feed Pro, which is both a spin-off and evolution of PMP Worldwide conceptually, this man and his partner saw the need for a unique social network platform dedicated to music professionals, which provide an array of opportunities for record companies, music publishers, TV, film, video game, as well as peer-to-peer. So essentially, he's building a community of creative, because right now we in this creative economy. And in addition to that, he now also has an NFT platform and an NFT masterclass. Let's welcome to the show, Mr. Conrad Dimosh.
Yo, what's up, brother? What's up, brother? Thanks for having me.
Man, it's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. So welcome to the show, Rad. But we're gonna get you back on because we got to pay some bills, and we know we got you on a short lease because you were a busy man. So the next 15 minutes after the commercial break, we going in quick, fast, in a hurry. All right.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, brother.
See you after the break. We're gonna pay some bills. This is Power Moves Radio Show, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. See you after the break. On In Touch News Radio, reality radio where everyone is a star. All right, we back. This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We have Mr. Conrad Dimanche, Rad, as what most people know him in the industry. He is the executive behind Music Feed Pro, and he's doing some other projects, and we welcome him to the show, man. How you doing? How you been handling things in the pandemic, bro?
I'm good. I actually, I had it a few days before Christmas and through New Year's, but mostly good. Family is mostly good. You know, it's rampant in New York. Just been, yeah. I mean, it's crazy times. I think human beings, we learn to adapt, and Black people even better at adapting. You know, in whatever circumstance. So, you know, any of us. You waking up, man, you're blessed because so many people are gone.
No doubt.
Great point. Well, hey, you know, we want to get right to it. Thanks for joining us today, and I applaud you for always getting to the bag, if you know what I mean. In your career, from what we've studied and learned, you've developed incredible relationships in the industry, and what Joel would say, his catchphrase, turning contacts into contracts, baby. So how has relationship building between artists, producers, and executives made you money?
Made me money. I mean, you know what? Relationships, we all know, and your audience may have heard it before. Your network, you know, defines your net worth. So maintaining relationships in, I think, entertainment is paramount. You know, in most industries is very important. Whether you're a real estate dude, you want to have relationships with different brokers and buyers and investors, and in the music industry, equally important. For especially, I was an A&R, so having relationships, great relationships with all the producers, all the writers. You know, dealing with artists every day, you gotta bring out the best in them, you know, and with that, it takes having a personal relationship more than just business. And I just carried that over into my other businesses in terms of people, and I think of it more of just being good to people, taking care of people, and they're going to take care of you in times of need. But it definitely helped me, move out of the music industry, especially when I first launched PNP Worldwide. I had relationships. It was a production platform for music producers and record companies because I had great relationships with, tons of record company A&Rs and a bunch of A&Rs, and producers, songwriters. Me leaving the business, building that platform while I was still in the traditional music business, getting a lot of people to participate in the platform because it was a networks effects business. Like let's say Uber is a networks effects business. You have drivers and you have passengers that need rides. PNP Worldwide was a networks effects business, meaning you had producers and songwriters. You also needed record companies and independent record labels and managers to be able to deal with the producers. So keeping relationships, maintaining relationships is important. I'd say in the technology world, it's not as important depending on what kind of business that you're running. And Joel, the Music Feed Pro is I sent you an older bio. Music Feed Pro is maybe 2 years ago since. Yeah, we wrapped it up. We ran out of money. Right now I have an e-commerce Amazon business, Shopify store selling health products. But as you saw, Joel, most recently, I'd say the past year, I've been studying and into NFTs, buying NFTs, selling NFTs. I worked on the last 2 Biggie albums after his death. I created a series of NFTs for my notes. Every album I ever did, I did about 40 albums while at my 10 years at Bad Boy, I kept very extensive notes. So I have my hard drive from about 20 years ago. I created a series of my notes from doing the last Biggie album that we released. I turned it into a series of NFTs and started selling them. I posted it online and just a ton of people, reached out to me, and I decided to do a class because NFTs are extremely important. They're going to transform most industries, not just the music industry, and we're usually last when it comes to technology. And I say people that look like us, there's people making millions of dollars. There's artists, very early in the NFT game. And what I realized after doing my post that a lot of people just didn't have a clue, most of them, what NFTs really were. And as an artist, how they can capitalize on NFTs, so I did a masterclass on it and launched it about a week ago.
Yeah. As a IECM brother from Queens, you like you said, you get to the bag. So with that being said, and you already talked about your transition, so let's jump into your masterclass because we got a limited amount of time. How do you see yourself leading that, and how much is your masterclass? Like, how does someone register for it?
Well, I have a link. I posted a link on social media. I have a link on my Instagram page, which is Rad Powerful Mind. The class is $229. It's over an hour long, and I thought it was important. One, when dealing with NFTs, NFTs are all bought and sold with cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies are possible because of something called blockchain technology. It's a digital ledger. So I started with the fundamentals of blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, and then went in depth with what is an NFT, and then went even deeper in, the process of creating an NFT. I went through the process live, through a shared screen of how to create an NFT, which is probably the easiest part of the entire thing, and then really talked about marketing the NFT, because creating an NFT is one thing, but the same as you create a song and you put it on YouTube, it's a lot of people out there, and you really need to have like real cool ways to market your product. And that's the gist of the class. I think is great. I tried to make it super affordable, and it's been going good so far.
Yeah, $229. That's a well worth investment. You can get a return on that quickly. Within that masterclass, are you also teaching them marketing strategies? Because I'm happy you mentioned that, because so many people are trying to jump into the room of NFTs, but don't realize that what makes people successful is that they have a community already or a baked in network that is kind of waiting for that. So
absolutely. I talked about, Discords in the Discords are private server chat groups. I touched on that, utilizing Twitter, artists creating their own Discords and really building a community, to really support, and I learned a lot of that just studying the art NFT world and what NFTs that I would want to and I buy. I really, outside of just the artist that created the art NFT, I really pay very close attention and watch their communities, watch the Twitter, and I join all the Discords and get involved in the conversation and just see what the mindset of them of the community is. So I also went into that, and yeah, I do believe that unfortunately a lot of artists, which is another problem, it's another conversation. A lot of artists are struggling. The term struggling artist didn't come from anywhere, be it whether you're an actor, a painter, or a musician, they're all struggling, but again, for someone with over 20 years in the music business, and leaving the traditional music, I left the traditional music business. I retired or resigned from a 6-figure job. This is 12 years ago, because I launched a music technology business. And this is 12 years later, 4 companies down the line. And now I'm president of a technology company, a 7-figure technology company. It's a wealth of knowledge that I poured into that, masterclass, and it's definitely well worth it.
Awesome. So let's get to the power and respect joint in the next 3 minutes, Kev. Quick, fast, in a hurry.
Man, you.
Now I pushed back my call like 10 minutes, so let's go to 8:40. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, that's cool. We good. We flexible over here. Power moves, yo. This is our show.
Yeah, this is. You shared, a little bit of how you become, profitable. How do artists or how do beginning business people become, profitable in this new, iteration of music, NFTs? Where should they start? I mean, what if someone, obviously your class, I think, is a great start, but where should they be thinking about? Because you seem to be, obviously ahead of the curve, but we want people to follow you, but we also want them to get excited about what kind of could come out of some of this stuff if they pursue hard enough.
Well, let's talk about, one of the things that fascinates me about NFTs as it relates to music and artists. Now, NFTs, if executed correctly, and when you create, and the term is mint NFT, but let's use create for the purpose of understanding. Mm-hmm. When you create an NFT, and I touched on this in the class also, when you create an NFT, you can create a limited amount of them, which I urge, people to do. Part of the problem with, and it comes down to supply and demand, part of the problem with music, when it comes to supply and demand, the music is streaming. It's all about streaming right now. So you put a song up, someone could stream it at any time. It sort of devalues the music. Anything that's abundant, where supply is abundant, it decreases the value. Let's take, diamonds and gold, for example. Gold's a precious metal, but the process of mining the gold makes it scarce. It's a process to get the gold. So there's never too much gold in the marketplace. And even things like that are controlled. But back to the music now, because the music is readily streamed at any time, it decreases the value. Now, when creating an NFT, you can make a limited amount of these songs. So you have one song, you could mint or create 5,000 copies of that one song to be purchased. Now, the first thing, just to back up a little bit, is to understand that we're in, especially for like all of us of age, but the younger generation, all they know is digital, and digital assets to them, is everything. Owning digital assets is everything. We're in a country where for decades, it's been a collecting country, whether it's collecting coins, collecting, baseball cards, collecting comic books, for ownership or for the value to increase. It's something that America has done, for decades and decades. Now you transform that into, digital assets and collecting these NFTs and owning these NFTs. It's why the art NFT world is booming right now. You have people collecting, and there's limited amount of, let's say, Bored Ape Yacht Club, I think, is around 10,000. It's one of the biggest NFTs. They're selling for $200,000 plus dollars, some of them over $1 million. But they created 10,000 of them. There's some art NFTs, there's only 5,000 of them. Some of them 8,000 of it. But what happens when it becomes popular and you have 250,000 people that want those 10,000, 500,000 people, supply and demand kicks in, and it increases the value. And it's the same thing actually with cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, there's 18 million Bitcoins in circulation, 21 million Bitcoins, in total. They can't, make more of it because it's created on the blockchain. They're not going to create more of it, but as more and more people, as Bitcoin becomes more adopted, more people want it, the value increases, as we've seen. It's the same with the art NFTs. Now with the music, it's also the same concept. You create 5,000 songs, only those 5,000 songs are available to be purchased and owned. Here's the kicker. When the song, if you do it right and you do your promotions and your marketing, and let's say you sell out those 5,000 songs, people are talking about the 5,000 songs. Now, when 100,000 people want those songs, those same songs increase in value. Let's say you sold a song for $2. Now you sold a song, your fans, maybe 70% of your fans bought 5,000 of those songs. There might've been 30% of investors. Because for me, I'm a businessman, I'm an investor. NFTs that I buy, I'm looking for stuff that's going to increase in value. I'm looking for good projects that's going to increase in value. Now, number one, the artist that created the NFT, they can put a royalty on the NFT. Now, that's a game changer. To get royalties in the traditional music business, you got to do these contracts. You got to hire lawyers, pay them a bunch of money. Parties have to sign the contracts. Your record sells, you're going to get your royalties, but then sometimes you don't get paid on time. It's a physical check. It might take 9 months before you get the first check. You got a deposit check. If you don't get the check, we heard all the time about stories of artists not getting their money from record companies or this party or that party. Then there's a lawsuit. It might be 3 years of litigation before you get paid. You create your NFT as an artist, you put a royalty on it. Most platforms, you could go anywhere from like 10% royalty or 50%, up to 50% royalty. What does that mean? So you sell the NFT, your song, the first time, it sells out 5,000, 70% of the people were your fans, 30% of people were investors looking for a return on their money. The cool thing is when that NFT, if and when that NFT increases in value, the fan, this is a game changer. The fan can now, that they might have bought the song for $2. The song may now be worth $20. The fan can turn around and resell that same NFT, and the fan makes a profit. Never before has that ever been possible. Now, when that fan sells that same NFT for $20, the original artist that created it, they get their royalty. So if you put a 10% royalty on it, 5,000 songs, just imagine, now your song is reselling on the open market, the secondary market, and the fans have an opportunity to make a profit. It's more of a real investment for return on your original dollars, and that artist gets their royalty, and it keeps going because it's on the blockchain. That 10% royalty that you put on it, even if it resells 10 times, the artist is going to automatically get their 10% royalty that goes directly to their digital wallet. They wake up in the morning, they see the sales, the money's in their wallet. There's no collecting money, there's no chasing lawyers, there's no lawsuits. And it's incredible opportunity for the artists, to execute their own royalty rate and get paid for life on a song, but it's also an amazing opportunity for fans. Traditionally fans, you're into an artist, you are investing in an artist if you stream the music and the artist makes a few pennies and things like this, but it's a different kind of investment. It's a real investment for return on your dollars if it's a good project, but the great thing is that because NFTs are so hot, you have people like me out there that, a lot of the music today I'm not really into, but I'm into looking for projects that I can make a return on my original dollar. So it's a really big thing.
See, that's it. And this is called the economics.
Yeah. Did I answer the question?
You did. What was great about it is I want our listeners to understand the importance of understanding the language of money. The language of money is about, first, understand what is an asset. An asset is something that's going to give you money, right? That's constantly giving you a stream of money. Number one. Number two, you talked about the royalties. Royalties is that passive income where you create the thing once and then it gives you passive income if done correctly. Three, the fact that you talked about the whole supply and demand. That's what makes the NFTs so attractive. And four, the fact that now we're going from the real world to the digital world. And the other best way I like to describe with NFTs is if you have any young kids that buy them sneakers and stock X, it's the same concept. When you like, oh my gosh, what do you mean the sneaker is now $1,000? We bought it for $200. Right. Yeah, I'm gonna sell my sneaker. What do you mean you selling the sneaker? Right? But it's crazy out there, right? So, and I love the fact that you talked about the secondary market, because that's what it's really all about. It's about, that's what makes the stock market the way the stock market is. It's based off a secondary market. People think that it's, an initial exchange, but it's not. The institutional investors already made their money and traded. But so when it's in the stock market, that's still called the secondary market, where everybody's kind of buying and selling. This gives the common person the opportunity to get their end. So thank you very much for sharing that, Rad. Once again, because I know we got to sign out, what's the best way to reach you, do business with you, make bread with you? Holla at your boy, holla at your feet, at the audience to let them know.
Yeah, Instagram. My Instagram is Rad Powerful Mind. Rad Powerful Mind, and full is with 2 L's. And the NFT class is right in my bio, the link. You can send me a DM there. I'm on Facebook also at Conrad Martin Demanche, and I'm pretty active on social media.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you for coming and visiting us and blessing us. You're gonna have to come back again. We might need to bring you on one of our panel projects that we're working on, and things of that nature, Rad. But once again, thank you for blessing us, brother.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I don't do stuff like this.
We see the platinum plaques in the back. We see you, baby. We see you, Boston, baby.
No, we appreciate you, Rad. Definitely, you're like a professor up here, schooling us seasoned dudes and young bucks alike. So we got to have you in another time to really bring upon the nation upon this, because there are a lot of people wanting to get in. They're quite a lot of inhibition because people don't want to lose. They want to win. But they have to know that you exist, and we want to continue to put great people with great minds, a great initiative, and ingenuity out there. So thank you, brother. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys for having me. All right. Be safe, man. Guys.
Okay.
Take care. Be safe out there. Peace.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're going to go on break. This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. After the break, we're just going to do a quick summary. Kevin and I are going to chop it up, and then we're going to talk a little bit about sickle cell anemia and how you can support my man, Glenn Alpha Fletcher. We out on only here on In Touch News Radio, reality radio where everyone is a star. See you after the break. All right. We are back. Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. Yeah. So, Rad put it down in a short period of time. We couldn't even go into our regular format of power of respect. We just had to jump into it. And the funny thing about it is, Rad was the person that worked with the Locks to do that song Money, Power, and Respect.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. I mean, so what are your thoughts of what he said? If we kind of recap, what are the three big takeaways that you got out of the conversation?
Well, I like his confidence. He's sure about his ability to reinvent. You hear he said 4 businesses, and they've come and gone, and he's been able to continue to reinvent himself. So I think, to me, there's a sense of confidence about knowing that if one thing doesn't work, he's gone after another thing. He's not looking back. The fact that he certainly is in the space that is one in which I think a lot of people are unsure about, which is the NFT, blockchain, Bitcoin space. We've been hearing about it for a while, and I think there are a lot of people that still have some inhibition, but the fact that he has a product out there for you to consume. Now, I want you to think about this. For the price of lunch once a month, you can afford this class. When you think about it's $229, that's like buying a $12 lunch, burger, fry, big salad, or whatever, at a decent place. And I just think people are worth that. I think when you think like, hey, right off the jump, that's a lot of money. For some people may not be able to put it aside, but I think the fact that he offers something. And then the last thing is just he has a spirit of, wanting to share it. I think it's not a lot of people will want to put something out there for anybody to share. If he's got a 7-figure business, some people are like, I'm gonna keep my 7 figures to myself and how I do it. The fact that he's saying this is a business that certainly is not going anywhere and is certainly on the rise, and sounds like there's more room at the table for all of us. The fact that he's willing to share that, particularly the people who are often, as he said, not at the table or up on it. They've figured out a way to get people in the game. So I'm encouraged, someone like myself who certainly knows enough people to be able to get in the game, but I'm not fully in it. And I have a product or two that could possibly be NFT worthy and me minting right away. So I'm excited about what I heard, man. So those are things that I think, the confidence, the ability that he's created a product and the willingness to share it is what I took away. Is very powerful about him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think one of the things I loved, and we couldn't get into it because we had short order, but the one takeaway was when he made sure he said that he resigned from his 6-figure job to start his own company, right? And so, and that's kind of like one of the one of the things that we want to share with people is you can't be afraid to take the jump, and you got to believe in yourself, especially when you have the accolades, when you've made your mark. Corporate is only going to get you but so far, right? Working for someone else's dream is going to get you but so far. But if you want to establish for yourself and leave a legacy for yourself, you got to go out on your own. And he did it. And even when he might have had troubling times, he figured it out. So you got to have the faith to figure it out. The second thing I want to underscore is, although, now this is interesting, because most people, a lot of times when you are an employee, you don't really understand the economics of investing, right? And that's a big component of investing, is understanding the value of something and what the future value could potentially be. And so you want to buy low so that you can sell high, right? And so when he says, one of the things I want to accentuate and for our listeners is I want you to understand when he said, you know what, some of the music out there I don't like or care for. However, as an investor, if they putting out an NFT, I'm buying it. Now, I was going to ask him a follow-up question in regards to that, but once again, we're short order, but I could tell you what the answer is. Keep in mind, you don't have to like ugly, as long as as long as it's going to make you the dollars. You don't have to like it, because at the end there's someone else that you could sell it to that loves it, right? So just like in real estate, right? You can go to a neighborhood that looks dilapidated, jacked up, and then all of a sudden you're getting upset because it's being gentrified. But if you're not staying in your own hood and you're not building up your own hood, and then as soon as you get some money and then you leave to go to the suburbs, and then someone else sees the value of the place that you live at and they build it up and wait and see 5 years, 10 years from now, when the neighborhood increases, it's the same holds true for what he's looking at the NFTs. Yeah, he may not like mumble rap. He may not like, some of these artists, but guess what? He knows that these guys have a fan base. He understands the power in numbers. So the lesson to learn is, it doesn't matter what it is. If the numbers look good, you might as well look to buy it, right?
Yeah, there's a ton there, and I like the fact that you use mumble rap. I actually, when you said it doesn't matter whether you like it, it is so true. My kids are all in, right? To me, I certainly see the opportunity there, because I look at them and I said, those are future consumers on an extremely different level than I am. And there are so many of them consuming it that it makes so much sense to say, okay, what is that? And how can I, get into it from an economic standpoint? I may not listen to it, but I can, support it from over here. How? By doing this, buying whatever they're buying, or getting behind whatever they're getting behind, because there's some audience that likes that person. If that person starts driving that car or taking and using that particular product, then I know that product for a while could be very hot and could be a good buy. So as a businessman, you certainly do. Or if that person, if I'm doing something, I say, if I can get that person to attend that or come through, he's going to breed so many influencers, going to get some new eyeballs on my pre-existing business that most people, or that segment, wouldn't have normally come to my business, Pro to CEO. if I can incorporate something like that we align on, then it opens my business up to a brand new customer base I necessarily wasn't very familiar with us, and they become familiar overnight with this kind of person. So that makes good business sense.
Absolutely. And then, just to piggyback, remember several weeks ago, Kevin, when we had Artsy with the metaverse, right?
No doubt.
So one of the things he mentioned was digital assets, right? So imagine if you create your metaverse world, you buy your land, your digital land, you digital furniture, that becomes your assets. And then now you buy your digital artwork, your digital music that's rare. So when people come to your place, they see it. So I just want to paint the picture for you to understand what the power move is, guys, is do your research and really understand where we're going and jump on it, because when you start buying these digital assets that you believe that's going to be valuable in the future, and you get to hang it on your wall or have a table or whatever the digital asset is that you made into this NFT, non-fungible token, and then someone comes visiting you and says, man, I like that. Are you selling that? And now you can get a return on your investment, and it's all digital. That's key. So that's where the power move really comes into play, because now you can create your whole world. You can create an art gallery. You can create anything within this digital universe that's yours.
So well said. And to me, I think just the other fact that he mentioned, that there are things that can be done right now, which is, studying up on it and getting more immersed in it. And that, if you look around enough, people, there are lots of mediums in which, if you just use the word the right way and put it in the search, you can find a lot of this stuff and it will be right there for you. So I don't think I don't think it's too far out of reach for us to start, immersing ourselves in whatever it is that we want to do. It's a matter of, do you want to be, someone who wants to work for yourself. So if it is something that you desire to do so, then you got to talk to people who've done it and connect in and ask them what were some of the beginning questions they asked themselves about, could I be my own brand? Could I run my own business? What were they doing instead of just sitting around wishing it could have happened and not, just sitting back? They said to themselves, I'm gonna start doing something. And I think you got to study that and then begin to do a version of it for yourself, whatever that looks like. But I think the same thing goes for what Conrad was talking about. If NFTs are your thing or aren't your thing, but you want to start making it your thing, you got to start making tracks in that direction. And don't let money or lack of knowing people or ultimate access, limit you. And I think those are some of the barriers that, keep us, from going, all the way in. I remember being at the NBA, I carried 2 computers around. One was theirs, one was mine. I just wanted my ability to tap into what I was thinking and not be ever thought that I was using other people's resources to create my own future resource. I was that committed to it. And I think people say, why are you carrying around two computers? And I'd be like, because I'm working on something that, I don't want to commingle with anything else. And I think that was a little bit of my story. I'm just saying how do people do it? I just gave you a little bit of insight how that's how one person like me did it. You don't have to do it like that, but that's the way I approached it.
Yeah. And so with that being said, and this, as a transition, my boy, Mr. Glenn Alfred Fletcher, he's an artist. And we've been talking about, the funny thing is, him and I have been talking about putting together an NFT 15 months ago.
15 months ago. Wow.
15 months ago, because remember when we had Marcus Howard and we were talking about NFTs back then, right? We were talking about blockchain and what's going on. So
we had Steve too. Steve
Tingeris, yes.
Tingeris. He was breaking us off on the Alexa and how many versions they were working on and how upgraded it was going to be, and we're already way past what he was talking about now.
We're way past, right? So, and what's prevented him from really pushing forward is this debilitating disease of sickle cell anemia. And so, which is why currently right now we are doing a campaign for him, as well as we help him, you know, fight the disease, because unfortunately the health practitioners have been definitely in New York have not supported him enough in that, because he, you know, he has a Medicaid card and has a disability, they don't want to be bothered with them. They rather deal with the big money folks. And so the only way he's going to get the type of care is from the community, right?
Oh my God.
And which is why we have fundraiser, fundraiser.com/sick of sickle cell, where we're looking to raise the money. That's the website.
Did y'all hear that? Sick of sickle cell. Go ahead.
Sick of sickle cell. And because he has so much work that he's done with his portfolio, working with Yasin Bey, to Tribe Called Quest, to numerous hip hop legends, KRS-One. I mean, just to name a few of the artists that he's worked with. He's worked with Spike Lee, and with all his work that he's done, and even in the fashion, even streetwear, I want to be able to memorialize that, because he made a conscious decision, as you had mentioned earlier, Kevin, when you said your wife asked you, do you have the sickle cell trait? You know, he made a conscious decision to say, you know what? I don't want to put my kids through this, because he had 3 sisters that died of sickle cell before the age of 25.
Oh my God. Terrible.
So currently at age, he just celebrated his birthday. At the age of 53,
wow,
he is the longest survivor of his family clan of sickle cell, based off of the way he knows how to take care of his body. He's the one that put me on the blood type diet, you know, got me juicing. I got my beets and celery. That's why I look so young and vibrant.
I had some beets tonight, y'all, so I'm with you on that.
You know, so the key thing is that when you have good people like that, we got to do something to support them. We can't neglect them. And so that's the reason why I'm helping him again. So go to www.fundrazr.com/sick of sickle cell. We appreciate you. Thank you for all your support. Once again, that's the other power move. Like I said, yesterday was Dr. Martin Luther King Day. He was a man of great service. As a matter of fact, Glenn is born the same exact day as Martin Luther King.
Oh, wow.
January 15th. So,
15.
You know, and you know, your boy Martin is an alpha. You know, Martin Luther King is one of my idols. So that's the reason why I know up on that. So please look to support another great show of Power Moves. See you next week, baby.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. Continue to tune in, grow and learn with us.
That's right. Thank you, Kev.
No problem. Thank you, my brother Joel. Next time.